Have you ever been in that situation? You know, your English grammar is spot on, vocabulary is great, and you say something completely factual.
And it just lands wrong.
Exactly. There's this awkward silence. Maybe you see someone react a bit funny. You know you've missed something.
Yeah, like that example we discussed, Sophia, the Italian architect in London.
Oh, right. She said, your plan will not work because the data is incorrect. Totally true, grammatically perfect.
But her British colleagues thought it was, well, rude, confrontational even.
Which raises the question, why? Why does that happen when you're technically correct?
It's such a common thing for advanced learners. It really points to this hidden layer of language. It's not the words themselves, but the sort of invisible rules about how we use them socially.
Social pragmatics, that's the term, right?
That's the one.
So if grammar books aren't the whole story, what is this hidden rule book? Because Sophia's situation, I think a lot of our listeners and you can probably relate. It feels like a secret code sometimes.
It really can feel that way. Pragmatics isn't just what you say. It's crucially about how you say it, why you choose those particular words, and, what you really mean beyond the literal surface.
Okay.
It's the step that takes you from sounding like a very good student to actually communicating like someone who's, well, socially fluent in the culture.
The difference between being understood and being effective.
Precisely. Being effective.
And that's what this deep dive is all about today. We want to unpack these unwritten rules. We'll look at things like politeness, small talk, basically help you use English with that social intelligence.
Exactly. Giving you the tools to navigate those interactions more smoothly, more confidently.
So where do we start? How do we break this down?
Well, a good starting point is making a clear distinction between semantics and pragmatics.
Okay. Semantics. That's the straightforward meaning. Like dictionary definitions.
Pretty much. It's the literal meaning of words and sentences, the raw linguistic data, if you like.
And pragmatics is where all the subtlety comes in, the tricky bits.
That's where it gets interesting, yeah. Pragmatics is the intended meaning, the hidden meaning, and it's completely tied to the context. It's the social intelligence layer.
Right, context is everything. Like, take a simple phrase. It's getting late.
Okay.
Semantically, dead simple. The time is moving on.
Yep, purely factual, but pragmatically, oh, it's a chameleon.
How so?
Well, imagine a parent saying it's getting late to their kid.
Means time for bed.
Right. Or say it to a colleague in a meeting that's dragging on.
Let's wrap this up.
Exactly. Or maybe to a guest who's overstayed their welcome.
A polite nudge towards the door. I'm tired. Please leave soon.
Could be. Or, between friends at a really boring party.
It's code for let's bail.
Precisely. Same words, totally different intentions based on context.
And what's fascinating is that for you, listening as an advanced learner, the semantic meaning the time is late. That's usually clear.
Right, you've got the vocabulary and grammar down.
But getting the pragmatic meaning, the intended message, and being able to use it yourself,
right,
that's the real skill.
Yeah. It is. And when you miss that, it's not really a language error, is it? It's a social misstep.
And those can sometimes feel worse or have bigger consequences.
They really can. So the key takeaway here is to shift from just translating words to interpreting intentions. Always ask yourself, what's the situation? Who am I talking to? What's our relationship? What am I actually trying to achieve here?
That's your pragmatic compass.
Exactly. Use that compass.
Okay, so if communication is this kind of delicate social dance, how do we learn the steps? What are the core strategies?
Well, a huge part of it boils down to politeness. It's much more complex than just saying please and thank you.
I bet.
There's a really influential theory by linguists Penelope Brown and Stephen Levinson. They talk about everyone having two fundamental faces.
Two faces. Okay, intriguing.
First, there's your negative face. That's your need for autonomy, for independence. You don't want to be imposed upon. You want your time and your space respected.
Okay, so when someone makes a big demand on my time without asking, that feels like a threat to my negative face, my desire to control my own stuff.
Exactly. And the other face is your positive face.
Which,
your desire to be liked, to be approved of, to be seen as part of the group. You want to feel valued, competent, included.
So getting a genuine compliment makes you feel good that boosts your positive face.
Spot on.
And I guess almost anything we say could potentially threaten one of these faces, like asking for something or disagreeing.
Absolutely. Brown and Levinson call these face-threatening acts, or FTAs for short. A request threatens negative face you're imposing. Criticism threatens positive face. You're questioning someone's competence or image.
So polite language is basically a set of tools to soften those threats, to manage the FTAs.
That's a great way to put it. It's all about managing FTAs using specific strategies.
Okay, let's dig into those strategies. How do we respect that negative face, that desire for independence?
That's where negative politeness comes in. It's the art of not imposing, showing respect for the other person's autonomy, their right not to be bothered.
And this is super important when you're asking for things, right?
Yeah.
Especially from, say, your boss or someone you don't know well.
Definitely. It's very culturally sensitive, too. Think about Kenji, the example from Japan working in the US, asking the boss for a day off.
Right. He couldn't just say, I need Friday off.
No way. That's far too direct in many contexts. Sounds like a demand, a big threat to the boss's negative face.
So what would be a more negative politeness approach?
Something like, I was wondering if it might perhaps be possible to take this Friday off. I have a personal appointment I need to attend. I've already finished the weekly report, and I've briefed Sarah on anything urgent.
I hear it. The wondering if the might be possible, the justification, the reassurance that things are covered, it's much softer.
Exactly. It minimizes the imposition.
So for you listening, what are some practical ways to use this negative politeness?
Okay, some key tools. First, use hedging and mitigating language. Soften your statements. Things like, I was just wondering if, or it seems like, or perhaps we could, maybe even I could be wrong, but...
Got it. Softeners.
Second, ask permission to ask. Show you respect their time. Sorry to bother you, but do you have a quick second? Or is now a good time for a quick question?
Nice one.
Third, rely on those modal verbs, the politeness verbs. Use could, would, might, may, instead of the more direct can, will, must.
So could you possibly send the report instead of
Oh.
can you send the report?
Exactly. And finally, sometimes it helps to be a bit pessimistic or apologetic in your framing. Like you're anticipating a no, which strangely shows respect for their right to say no.
How does that sound?
Like, I know you're incredibly busy, but, or you probably don't have time for this, but I was hoping.
It lowers the expectation and respects their autonomy.
That's a really useful set of tools for respecting boundaries. Okay, but what about the flip side? Building connection, making people feel good. Right, that takes us to positive politeness, the art of connection. This strategy appeals to the other person's positive face, their desire to be liked, appreciated, and included. It builds rapport and solidarity.
Where do we see this most often?
Very common among colleagues who know each other, friends, and definitely in service roles, think customer support.
Like Maria from Brazil working in Ireland. Her approach wasn't just about fixing the problem, was it?
No. A purely task-focused approach would be, your ticket number. Okay, password reset. Very dry.
Lacking warmth.
Right. But Maria, using positive politeness, would sound more like, hi there. Oh, I see you're having trouble with your account. I know how frustrating that can be. But don't worry, let's get this sorted out together. Could you give me your ticket number? Great, we'll have you back up and running in no time.
You can feel the difference immediately. The empathy, the we're in this together vibe.
That's positive politeness in action, appealing to that need to feel understood and supported.
So how can you, our listener, use this positive politeness more effectively?
Okay, some tips. First, actively show interest and empathy. Use phrases like, wow, that sounds really challenging, or I totally get why you'd feel that way, or that's a really great point.
Make them feel heard.
Exactly. Second, use sincere compliments, emphasis on sincere. You did an amazing job on that presentation, or I was really impressed by your insights. Direct boost to positive face.
Genuine appreciation.
Third, establish common ground. Find ways to connect. Yeah, we're all juggling a lot right now, or like you, I'm also trying to figure out, creates a sense of shared experience.
And fourth,
Use inclusive language. We and us foster teamwork. Instead of saying, you need to finish your part, try framing it as, let's make sure we get our parts done by the deadline. It feels more collaborative.
okay, so we have negative politeness for not imposing and positive politeness for connecting. Now let's tackle something that trips up so many learners, the spectrum of directness, especially reading between the lines.
Ah, yes, indirectness. It's often seen as a sophisticated politeness strategy, particularly common in, say, British English, but it can be really confusing if you're from a more direct culture.
It feels like people aren't saying what they mean.
Well, they are, just not explicitly. Indirectness involves implying meaning, giving the listener space to interpret. It's often about preserving harmony and avoiding confrontation. It respects the listener's intelligence to get it, without being blunt.
And this is crucial for understanding refusals, isn't it? The
Yeah.
polite no.
Absolutely. A flat no can be a major FTA, threatening both positive and negative face. So, indirect refusals are very common.
Remember Lee from China asking his Canadian manager about a new project?
Yeah, the manager said something like, "That's a great initiative, Lee. Right now, though, I really need you to focus on the quarterly report as it's a top priority for the team."
And Lee heard the praise, great initiative, and the reason focus on the report.
And probably thought, okay, maybe later. He missed the polite but quite clear no, hidden in there.
It's a classic misunderstanding. So how can you learn to spot these indirect no's? Are there patterns?
There definitely are. Look out for things like the praise plus but sandwich. That sounds like a wonderful idea, but our budget is a bit tight. The praise softens the blow before the refusal.
Okay, praise then the but.
Then there's the apology plus reason. Oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm completely swamped this week. The apology shows regret before giving the reason for saying no.
Got it.
The deferral is a tricky one. Let me check my calendar and get back to you. If you don't hear back reasonably quickly, it often means no. Don't chase aggressively.
The non-committal commitment.
And related to that, the vague commitment, "I'll see what I can do." That usually signals doubt, not a promise.
So the big tip here for you is, if the answer isn't a clear, enthusiastic yes, treat it like a potential no. Read the room, don't push too hard.
That's very wise advice. And this indirectness isn't just for refusals. It's huge in giving criticism or suggestions delicately.
Oh yeah. Direct criticism can really make people defensive. Thinking about Anya, the Russian engineer.
Right. Valued for being direct and honest in her culture. Saying, this is inefficient and this part has a bug.
Which, while factually true, didn't go down well.
No, it probably damaged her colleague's positive face. She needed a softer touch.
So how can you give feedback indirectly, more constructively?
Okay, several techniques here. First, frame it as a question. Instead of, "This section is confusing," try, "I was a little confused by this section. Could you perhaps walk me through your thinking here?"
Puts the onus on your understanding, not their poor explanation.
Clever.
Second, use the passive voice. Instead of "you made a mistake here," try "it looks like a mistake might have been made here." It separates the person from the action.
Takes the blame off the individual.
Third, own the perception. Instead of "your explanation wasn't clear," try something like "I'm not sure I fully followed the explanation." Again, it's presented as your issue, even if it isn't really. It's a polite fiction.
Polite fiction, I like that. And finally, use the what if, or have you considered, approach for suggestions. What if we tried looking at it from this angle? Or, have you considered adding a quick summary at the start? Much gentler than a command.
And maybe we can give people a few quick phrases for disagreeing gently.
Good idea. Instead of a blunt, "I disagree," maybe try,
Mm-hmm.
"I see what you're saying, but I have a slightly different perspective."
Okay.
Instead of, "That's a bad idea, perhaps. I appreciate the suggestion. My only concern is about mention potential issue."
Focus on the issue, not the person's idea quality.
And instead of the very direct, "You're wrong," maybe something softer like, "I might be misunderstanding something, but I thought the data showed."
These all create space for discussion rather than confrontation, don't they? They protect face.
Exactly. That's the goal.
Okay, moving on.
Mm.
Let's talk about something many learners find baffling or even annoying. Small talk. The social lubricant.
Ah, the classic "why talk about the weather" dilemma.
Right. It can feel so pointless, especially if you come from a culture where you just get straight down to business, like you're wasting time.
I get that. But the key thing to grasp is that small talk isn't really about the content, it's about the connection.
How so?
It's a social ritual, it builds rapport, signals you're friendly and approachable, and often it's like the necessary warm-up before you can get into deeper or more serious conversation, especially in business settings.
I remember Stefan, the German engineer at that UK conference. He found it exhausting. People asking about the flight, the rain.
And he gave short, factual answers, right? Killing the conversation.
Yeah, until he realized that in that context, the small talk was the point. It was the expected thing.
He nailed it. So for you listening, what are the rules for playing the small talk game effectively?
Lay them out for us.
Okay, first, choose safe topics. You're looking for common, uncontroversial ground. Weather is the classic for a reason. Also, the immediate situation, the event, the coffee, the room, travel, how was your journey, weekend or holiday plans, general hobbies, maybe recent TV shows or films.
And what to avoid.
Steer clear of the potentially awkward stuff, especially with people you don't know well, often called the big three: politics, religion, money. And avoid overly personal questions or problems. Keep it light.
Good advice. What else?
Second, ask open-ended questions. Don't set yourself up for a yes or no answer. Instead of "did you have a good weekend?" try "what did you get up to over the weekend?" It invites a narrative.
Makes sense. Keep the ball rolling.
Third, listen actively and find hooks. Pay attention. If they mention something specific like "I did some gardening," latch onto it. "Oh, brilliant. What sort of things do you grow?" It shows you're engaged.
Find the follow-up opportunity.
And finally, remember, it's give and take. Like a tennis match. Don't just answer a question. Answer it, and then hit the ball back by asking them a question.
Can you give an example of good versus bad?
Sure. Bad. Q. How are you finding the conference? A. It's good. End of rally.
Dead end.
Good. Q. How are you finding the conference? It's been great, actually. I really enjoyed the keynote this morning. What about you? Which sessions have caught your eye? Answer plus return question.
Keeps the conversation alive. That tennis analogy is really helpful. And maybe a practical tip for you listening. Prepare a couple of go-to small talk answers and questions.
Absolutely. Having a short, ready answer about your job, your hobbies, or where you're from reduces the mental effort in the moment so you can focus on the interaction itself.
Okay, one last big area. Digital pragmatics. Emails, instant messages. This is where things can get really tricky, right?
Definitely. Because you lose all the nonverbal cues, tone of voice, facial expression, body language. That means the words themselves, plus things like punctuation and even formatting, have to carry all the pragmatic weight.
And ambiguity creeps in so easily. I know I've misread the tone of texts or emails loads of times.
We all have. It's a minefield. Think about email etiquette first, the formality spectrum.
Greetings and sign-offs.
Exactly. They set the tone instantly. You've got formal, "Dear Professor Smith, sincerely." Semi-formal, "Hi, John, best regards." And informal, "Hey, team, cheers."
So how do you choose?
A really good rule of thumb is mirroring. Look at how the other person emails you. If your boss uses "hi" and "best," it's generally safe for you to do the same in reply. Don't be more formal or less formal unless there's a good reason.
Mirroring. Got it.
Yeah.
And punctuation. You mentioned that could be tricky.
Hugely. Especially in instant messaging, that simple full stop, the period,
Yeah.
in a short message like, "okay." It can sometimes come across as cold, abrupt, even passive-aggressive compared to just "okay" or "okay."
Yeah, that's subtle.
It can be. And exclamation marks. Use them sparingly in professional contexts. One can show genuine warmth or enthusiasm. Thanks so much. Too many can look unprofessional or overly emotional.
And emojis.
Yes.
Safe or not.
Highly context dependent. Generally, avoid them in very formal emails or initial contacts. Once you have a bit of rapport, a simple smiley can sometimes soften a message or clarify tone, but always consider your audience and the workplace culture. When in doubt, leave them out.
Good rule. We had that example of Omar from Egypt sending a short email. "I need the report."
Right. He meant it efficiently, just a quick request.
But his UK manager read it as...
As quite rude. A demand, really, because it lacked any of the social padding, the politeness markers we expect.
So how did he learn to adjust?
He learned to add those pragmatic layers, just like he would in person. Something like, "Hi, Jane. Hope you're having a good week. Just wondering, when you get a moment, could you please send over the latest sales report? Thanks so much, Omar."
All those extra words, "hope you're having a good week. When you get a moment, could you please? Thanks so much." They aren't just filler, are they?
Not at all. They are crucial pragmatic signals. They maintain the relationship, show respect, and ensure the message lands well.
So some final tips for effective digital communication for you.
Okay. Always use a greeting and a sign-off, even if brief. Use "please" and "thank you" liberally. They cost nothing and soften everything. Assume good intent text is ambiguous, so don't jump to negative conclusions about tone.
Good point. Give people the benefit of the doubt.
And crucially, if the topic is sensitive, complex, or involves potential conflict or negative feedback, pick up the phone or arrange a video call.
Don't rely on text for the really tricky stuff.
Exactly. You need those real-time cues.
So wrapping this all up, mastering these unwritten rules, this pragmatic stuff, it's really a journey, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It's about observation, increasing your awareness, and constant practice. It's not just memorizing phrases. You, as an advanced learner, already have the language building blocks.
The next stage is becoming, what was that phrase you used? A cultural detective.
A cultural detective and a pragmatic observer. Yes.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some concrete actions you can take starting today?
Okay, first, listen actively in real situations, like meetings. Pay attention not just to what people say, but how they disagree, how they phrase requests, how they soften criticism. Notice the patterns.
Be an observer.
Second, watch TV shows and films critically. Look for the subtext. What's the real conversation happening underneath the dialogue? What are the characters' intentions?
Use media as a learning tool.
Third, if you can, find a cultural informant, a trusted native-speaking friend, colleague, or mentor. Ask for feedback. Hey, I said X in that meeting. How did that sound to you? Was it okay?
Be brave enough to ask for feedback.
Definitely. And finally, and this is maybe the most important, embrace mistakes. You will get it wrong sometimes. You'll have those awkward moments.
We will do.
Exactly. Instead of being embarrassed, get curious. Think, okay, that didn't land right. Why? What was the context? What could I try next time? See it as a learning opportunity.
Turn errors into insights.
Precisely, because the path from just being fluent in the language to being a truly competent communicator, well, it's paved with this pragmatic understanding.
It's about more than just the words.
Much more. When you learn to navigate these subtle rules, you're not just polishing your English. You're building stronger connections. You're becoming more effective professionally and personally. You're unlocking the real power of the language you've worked so hard to learn.
It really is the difference between being a fluent speaker and becoming a master communicator. Go out there and start decoding.